Okay, mean to say if I take root of x square, it will be plus x. It will not be plus minus x. There is a common misconception. However, if I write x square is equal to 4, this is an equation. If I take root both the sides, then it is x root of 4, x equals to plus minus 2. One very important thing which everyone must know after that. The second point, x to x is power 4, x is power 6 dot x is plus 2n. Any variable x having an even power is always positive. Better saying non-negative. Now, you will say what is the difference between positive and non-negative? Then beta, the thing is that any quantity which includes a 0 is non-negative. Like if you say 1, 2, 3, 10 is a collection of positive numbers. If I include 0 also, then this is collection of non-negative. So, all even powers of any variable give a non-negative number. Then, next come to the third point. If I say 2 raised power x, 4 raised power x, any a raised power x, e raised power x. Now, we have constant at base and power is variable. Power becomes variable. Variable power quantity is always positive, but not non-negative. That means it is very clear that any power, variable power on a number, we can never have ax is equal to 0. We can't have this. It is not possible. So 0 is not included here, but any variable power will always give a positive number. Now, you will say these are very simple things, but in many situations when we will be dealing with the complex problems, suppose we arrive at a situation that 2x plus 3 0. In the meanwhile step or at the last or in between, anywhere you find this step, then you will say 2x equals to minus 3 and you need to find the value of x. At that moment you are that much intelligent that you will just say no to this equation. Means there is no answer or none of these, any of this thing, because you are that much intelligent now that power of 2, the variable, can never be negative. It is not possible. You will just deny this equation. Further, if you find an equation, say 4x is equal to 0, still you are that much intelligent that you will say no, it is not possible, because 4x0 can never have this value x. We cannot have any value of x for which 4x becomes 0. So this is a key which will help in many complex problems. You will find a clue, a trigger point. These things will help you. Further, you are very well acquainted with the thing, another positive quantity, that is this one, modulus, Mr. Modulus. What is the function of Mr. Modulus? just being always positive. The blood group of Mr. Modulus is B positive. Better say, okay. Simultaneously, it is a non-negative also, mean to say I must write that mod x greater than equal to 0. Now I hope you have got the meaning of non-negative and positive number. If we have positive, then x is greater than 0. If it is non-negative, then x is greater than equal to 0. 0 is included. Well, further, an interesting thing. 3 points we have discussed. Fourth point. Let me have 2, 3 or more quantities added and summed up to 0. But each quantity can never be negative. For example, if I say a plus b is equal to 0 and there is compulsion on a and b that a cannot be negative, b cannot be negative simultaneously, then there is only possibility that a and b both must be 0. Let me take an example. I write root of u plus mod of v plus w square is equal to 0. Now, what can be the solution of it? This first quantity, second one, third one. Sum of these three quantities is 0. This is, I just told that the first point is always positive. This is non-negative. Minimum value is 0. It can also have value 0. Similarly, w square. Completely, ultimately you can say that any of the quantity cannot be negative. And still the sum is 0. Then there is only one possibility, that all these three quantities are individually 0. U is 0, V is 0, W is 0. And that's a very fantastic and strong tool. You need to give it about. Okay, let's solve another example. Let's enjoy this particular concept with an example. I simply write x minus 1 square plus x plus 1 mod equals to 0. Now you rush to a notebook with your pen and you will find, okay, you will try to find definitely this is again can never be negative, this can never be negative. So we must have, you will rush to the solution, that you will say x minus 1 must be 0 and here x plus 1 also must be 0. You will say here x1 and x equals to minus 1. You will have solutions x equals to 1 minus 1. This quantity can be 0 only. This quantity can be 0 only. Why? This can never be negative. This can never be negative. But sum of both is 0. Then individually they must be 0. So I put this. If this square is 0, then itself x minus 1 is also 0. Mod of x plus 1 is 0, then x plus 1 must be also 0. Then I get x equals to 1 and x equals to minus 1. I have two solutions. You will say that answer is x equals to 1 or minus 1. But my dear students, this is wrong. You will say, what happened? Okay, you are that in many situations we got x minus 2 x plus 3 is equal to 0. In lower classes, in 9th, 10th and lots of other places you have these kinds of equations, x minus 2 x plus 3 is equal to 0. Then you say x is equal to 2 or 3, minus 3. This gives x minus 2 0, this gives x equals to 2, x plus 3 0 gives x equals to minus 3. Then what is wrong here? Okay. Now, there is a very interesting word in Hindi. I hope all you understand. Maya. Let me write in English. Maya of or. Maya means magic. Or. Now, or says what? Simply or this or this. In this equation, you keep x is equal to 2 or you keep x equals to minus 3. The equation is satisfied. But here, x minus 1 square plus x plus 1 mod is equal to 0. You are saying that this is 0, this is 0. That means x is equal to 1 and x equals to minus 1 simultaneously, which is not possible. There was an option. You take either x equals to 2 or x equals to minus 3. You had option. Or. Here you have compulsion and simultaneously. X equals to 1 and x equals to minus 1. Let me give one more fantastic example that what or has in itself. Actually, or has a good magic in itself. Let me ask a simple question. Okay. I simply ask you 5 is greater than 3. True or false? Definitely true. 5 is greater than or equals to 3. True or false? Many may say false. 3 is greater than or equals to 3. You will say false. Many may say false. But first is clear in itself. Second, 5 greater than equal to 3. Actually, where you get confused. I said greater than or equal to. Normally it's not said in words. This symbol, we simply say greater than equal to. Actually it is greater than or equal to. Now this statement says that 5 is greater than 3 or equal to 3. Choose either of the option. You have option here. Option of or. That's the magic of or. There was hidden or option there. If I ask you, many of the students, actually or has the magic that it gives you freedom. You can choose by your own comfort. For example, right now, if I say out of you, parents of you all, your father is either, your father lives here or lives outside, lives here in Kota, or they live outside the Kota, then all you will say yes, because you have selected your option. The people who live here and fathers are here, they selected that option, and the people whose father are outside the Kota, they selected that option. So you had option. Same thing here. 5 is not equal to 3, of course, but it is greater than 3. Here is option. Here is also. 3 is not greater than 3, but it is equal to 3. So it is also true, it is also true. These are very small things, but you will come to know that in lots of problems, in almost every problem, we'll have to deal with these tricks. You need to know these things. Well, next point. Actually, I will explain you that why I'm rushing for all the positive numbers. Point number, I think 5. Quadratic expression of, say, first equation. I write ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. I'll discuss in details further, but here I'll just give the glimpse of it. It is when it is positive or it is negative or 0. If it is 0, then definitely it will have roots, either equal or one root. I hope you know this discriminant. It is b square minus 4ac. Discriminant of this equation. And I hope all of you know that if d greater than 0, you know very well, then real roots. Okay. This we have d is equal to 0, then real and equal roots. Well, that's very clear. No need to go in that details. But here, if I say d is less than 0, then there are two possibilities. Either a is greater than 0 or a is less than 0. The leading factor of the equation ax square plus bx plus c. A. Either it is positive or it is negative. If it is a is positive, d is negative in both the cases, then ax square plus bx plus c is positive. And if a is less than 0, then ax square plus bx plus c is less than 0. Here it is greater than 0. Means leading factor is determining the sign of the equation. Ax square plus bx plus c. I simply take an example. Three x square plus 4x plus 5. Check it. Oh, you will first definitely look at the d. D is what? B square minus 4ac. It is 16 minus 60 minus 44. So, and the first thing very clear that d is what? Negative. Now come to a. A is what? 3. 3 means positive. D negative, A positive. Expression must be positive always. You put any value of x, you will find the result of this expression always positive. We are dealing more and more positive. Later on, of course, in quadratic, I will explain this by the graph. If this is the situation, then the graph won't cut the x-axis. It will move up or down like this. Later, we will discuss when we will be discussing specifically the quadratic functions. Here I am just talking about the lots of positive quantities. One more thing, very interesting. Again, I'm only along the this 6 point. You understand this symbol epsilon in physics you study, but here in maths I write x belongs to, say, real numbers, say natural number, whatever. This symbol is of belongs to, right? Okay. Now I simply write a simple example. X belongs to 1 to 4. Then find x square belongs to. Okay. You will simply say, or let me tell you a simple way. You simply write equation y equals to x. If you can draw the graph, then it will become easier thing. Now you know very well the graph of y equals to x square. Very clear. This is this one graph. Now x lies from 1 to 4. 1 is here, 4 is here. Just darken this region. This is the graph of y equals to x square. The lowest point lies here. Y, this is 1 and this is 16, square of the 4. Then y belongs to 1 to 16. Means x square belongs to 1 to 16. You must say this is very simple thing that we know very well. So simple thing. Why need to discuss here? Okay. Let's see further. Now I simply change just one thing here. I write x belongs to minus 1 to 4. Question is same about x square. We need to know about the Jati Prajati of x square. Okay. Many people, you may say that x square, okay. As we did in the last example, x belongs to 1 to 4. We took 1, took its square. 1 square of 1 is 1, square of 4 is 16. The same can be done here. Square of minus 1 is 1, square of 4 is 16. Answer is again same, 1 to 16. We just took minus 1 first, squared it, we got plus 1. We then took 4, squared it, answer is 16. Okay. Okay, can we try a graphical method also? Let's see. Graph for y equals to x square. Same. Minus 1 lies here. Plus 4 lies here. Okay. Our interest reason, the region of interest is this. At minus 1 y is 1, at plus 4 y is 16. But beta, our concern was not to find the extremities. Our concern was to find the whole graph, where it moves, where it wanders, where has it's all actually in indirect sense. I have make you learn how to find the domain actually. I have talked about domain and range. Later on you will study in details. Look here. Now the bottommost, the lowest position of this graph is 0, not minus 1. So y, say x square, is from, it is minus 1 to plus 4, then y equals to x square, then x square belongs to now if you put any value from minus 1 to 0, you will get positive values, but at 0 you will get 0, then your range of x square, your y, is 0 to 16, not from 1 to 16. Got it? It's a point. Now further, let's take another interesting example. Same here. I keep x equals to, x belongs to minus 1 to 4 and y is 1 by x. Now my question is, y belongs to what? Again, now I have learned that we must draw graph at least, otherwise we can commit any mistake. Graph of y equals to 1 upon x. Up to yet in electrostatics you may have deal with it. Okay, let me discuss once again x and y. The maximum possible value of x is infinity, then y becomes 0. And when x tends to 0, y tends to infinity, means this graph is like this. If I go to the negative side, the graph will become like this. How it is? X close to 0, y tends to negative infinity. X goes to minus infinity, y goes to 0. Our region is minus 1 to 4. Here it is minus 1, here it is 4. Now this is the area of our interest. I am making it dark. Y is what? 1 by x. At minus 1, it is minus 1. It is of course minus 1. Now move towards the origin. From x equals to minus 1 to origin. Y moves from minus 1 to minus infinity. Interesting. As you move towards x equals to 0, y moves infinity, negative infinity. Okay. At x equals to 4, y is 1 by 4. Here it is 1 by 4. Now come back from 4 to 0. Then y becomes 1 by 3, 1 by 2, increases, of course increases. But as soon as we come close to 0, then as x comes close to 0, y tends to positive infinity. That means what we have for y, interestingly, from negative side, y or say x square started from minus 1 to minus infinity. From positive side, I simply say this way, from positive side, the maximum value of x was 4, and then it is 1 by 4, and maximum value was infinity. And infinity always have open bracket. This is closed one because it is included, and we place union here. We have talked about domain and range of the function y equals to x square.